Hello, thank you for coming. Tell us your name and tell us about your project.
Hello, my name is Leona Woods, but you can call me Libby. I graduated from Lyons Township High School in LaGrange, Illinois at the age of 13, and I received my BS in chemistry from the University of Chicago at 18 in 1938. I then became a pre-war doctoral student for chemistry under Robert Mulliken, who introduced me to the Manhattan Project. I was hired through Herbert Anderson under Enrico Fermi. Our group, the Chicago group, worked on the nuclear reactor Chicago Pile 1.
And what were you guys trying to do or to find?
Well, our job was to create the first artificial self-sustaining nuclear reactor. The reactor used natural uranium as well as a large supply of graphite as a neutron moderator. The goal for this, of course, unfortunately, was to create an atomic bomb for World War II.
And where did you all do all this work? Like, where did the experiment occur?
Well, we began our work in 1941, but our first successful test wasn't until December 2nd of 1942. The reactor itself was constructed in Redgate Woods, Chicago, hidden beneath the bleachers of the Stag Field, simply because, of course, it was a secret project, being that it was for the war, and the field was abandoned at the time. Chicago Pile 3, however, a later model of Pile 1, was built at Argonne National Laboratory, just 6 miles down the road.
And what other significant events were happening in the world around that time?
Well, of course, the whole reason for our work, World War II. The pursuit for nuclear reactors particularly stemmed from a tip that the Nazis were ahead or had a substantial scientific lead in nuclear weapons. Of course, the Allies were nervous about this, and so the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, all came together to work on research in nuclear weapons with about 30 different sites across the 3 countries.
And besides yourself, who else was involved in this project?
Well, my boss, Enrico Fermi. The other leaders of our team were also men. They were Walter Zinn, Albert Wattenberg, Herbert Anderson, who introduced me to the project. It's funny, we actually met while swimming for exercise when he discussed the project with me. And then some other individuals were Leo Zillard, Norman Hilberry, Samuel Allison, Martin Whitaker, George Wheel, a few other individuals.
I guess they all had pretty substantial roles in this project. What was your role specifically in this project?
Well, being a woman, I wasn't allowed to do much manual labor. Some of the men did with the graphite, but I did create a boron trifluoride counter. So instead of placing the graphite blocks, I used my own smaller stack of graphite to measure the effects of radium beryllium on a manganese foil. So I would measure the neutron cross-section in order to calibrate the detectors for the nuclear reactor. I was there when the Chicago Pile 1, went critical, when it shut down, when it powered back up successfully. I was there through all of that.
And what impact did your project have on the physics community during that time?
Well, we essentially initiated the controlled release of nuclear energy. This opened so many doors for further research in weapons, as well as just nuclear energy as an energy source for power and things like that. It also helped address some safety concerns with nuclear energy, so radiation, cancer, etc., things like that. Our personal experiences, health, even pregnancy, as I did get pregnant throughout this, could be studied and used to kind of help determine the effects of radiation from uranium and plutonium on the human body.
And do you believe being a woman inhibited your success within this project at all?
I don't think so. I hid my pregnancy because had it been found out, I likely would not have been able to work anymore. I gave birth and returned to work within days. I was the only woman in the Chicago group. I was the first and only woman present when the reactor went critical. However, I was there. When I was looking for a mentor for my doctorate, I spoke with James Franck before I spoke with Mulligan. And he said, "You are a woman and you will starve to death." In the field of physics, of course, not literally. But I didn't. It was undeniably more difficult for me to build my career, but in the end, hard work will overcome any stereotype.
Great words from a great woman. I believe that's all we have to say today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.